Hi, guys, welcome to another episode of the Amazing Tennis Podcast. Today, we're flipping the script. Usually, I'm the one asking questions, but this time, my co host Jose is putting me in the hot seat. We're diving into my story, how I started, the detour I took, why I'm chasing this comeback now, and honestly, all the things people don't really see behind the scenes. It's gonna be real, unfiltered, and hopefully inspiring if you're out there chasing your own dreams too.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of The Amazing Podcast. It's been a while since I was back. This episode is really a freaking joke. Like we're doing it through Zoom. You would think one of us on the other side of the world, where I'm actually 35 miles away. I can literally drive there and be there in 40 minutes. Some technical difficulties, so I'm in Boca, Emma's in Wellington. I'm actually in my pajamas right now. I literally just put a hoodie on because I don't even have to change. So it all worked out fine. I look absolutely gorgeous with this lighting. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, if you froze. Oh, there we go. We're gonna get started. Super happy to be back. Super happy to see Emma happy as well. Succeeding, achieving amazing things on the court, off the court. A lot to get into. I feel like it's been a while since we've talked about you and like your career and everything, Emma. So yeah, hope you're as excited as I am for this episode.
I'm, I'm very excited. I'm laughing because it's actually really funny, this whole thing. I can't believe we're doing it also because we're so close. We're like so close. But it's okay. We made it work. That's all that matters. It's like tough with our schedules and you're a busy guy and I appreciate you being here and I'm excited like kind of like to talk about everything. I really want to be like raw and like I really want to be vulnerable and you like just like me and you like talking talking on the phone, like when we talk, you know,
Mm.
like I want it to be like that conversation because Jose and I do talk a lot and he's been with me since day one. So he knows everything. So kind of like let's dive into it. And we do have some questions that we prepared, but like if you want to just like pull some out of the box, then go ahead, whatever.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah, no, I agree. I hope the more natural, the better. So I recently watched the play, Emma, for it's been a while since I watched the play before that, those matches that I watched here in Boca on the tournaments that you had back to back. Um, I know you weren't like playing 100% in terms of health. Like you had that injury in your leg. Maybe we can start a little bit about that injury, how it happened, how you were recovering, and how it was like playing with it. But I just want to start off saying like the level that I've seen like an improvement since the last time I watched you play is actually insane. And we actually talked about this after. It's not only like the tennis technically, but mentally and like the way you kind of behave on the court and even outside the court. Like what I feel like the way you deal with difficulty and like struggles with anything is very different than when you used to before, in which it was a lot more emotional, a lot more like maybe a little bit immature at times. Now it's a lot more like you kind of keep your calm, you're kind of more stable, and then of course you get affected by difficulties, but you're managing better. I don't know how you've experienced this in your tennis and then in your life.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for saying that. I mean, 2 years ago, definitely, I was not in a good place mentally, I think. When I just started, remember, like, when I started, I was like, he had, like, it was so much. I mean, it was still a struggle. Um, but I'm way more peaceful and calm. And I think if you're at peace off the court, then that translates on the court. And it's so important. We kept talking about this, like to keep putting that work mentally off the court. Whatever that means for you as a player. Like for me was kind of just like um just being more I mean it's a lot of things. I cannot just say it's one thing, right? Because it is a lot of things that have happened in my life. But I think you have to go through those really like tough moments to get to where I got. And the thing is, like, I still feel like I have more to go. You know, like I'm not where I want to be mentally or physically or with my tennis. I'm not even close because I still have those moments where I'm like, ugh, like I know that I should not have acted like that, but it's like so much better. Remember, like when you watched me in November, Boca, when that match,
Yeah.
like total mental case, right? Like total. Now it's like a lot better, but it's still not where I want to be. right?
Right.
But it's constant work on yourself day in, day out, and being accountable. And you cannot rely on like other people. Like, yes, other people can help you. Yes. But like, you have to take responsibility for your own actions, like day in, day out. Um, and it's also for me, it's like being kind to yourself, right? Not putting so much pressure, like I have to do this, I have to do that. Now I'm kind of like, okay, like I just see things differently, or like, with my boys as well, like as they're getting older, like I want to be a good example for them. So, like, they also keep me grounded and more humbled. Like, okay, it's just a tennis match, I come home, they don't care if I won or lost, it's just a tennis match. Like, life goes on. And, but it's tough. It's tough when you get into this grind as a tennis player, week in, week out, dealing with losses and being okay with it, but like not also being like, okay, yeah, I lost, whatever, I improved, but like you lose that kind of like fight, you still have to like fight. It's just, it's a lot. But you you said it's better. It is better. It is better. I agree, but it's still a work in progress, and still a lot. I feel like a long way, you know,
Right.
just with everything.
Yeah. And can people see us right now, or are they gonna be listening to this and that's it?
They can see it.
They can see us? Oh, okay. That puts a little more
Fine.
pressure on me. I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, yeah, no, totally agree. And that kind of, so I did want to talk a little bit about the injury and like how did anything change in terms of like your game plan, the way you were thinking on the court, what your expectations when you played those matches in the Boca tournaments with the injury? Like what was your goal? What was your goal in terms of performance? Did your expectations like lower, or were they the same, and you were just, it's going to be like a grind? So I guess this is like a good segue into like for players
Yeah.
how to address injuries when they still have to perform sometimes. Not ideal, but you have to sometimes.
Today's video is sponsored by Lucky in Love. Gone are the days of ladies' golf and tennis apparel that all look the same. Lucky in Love is ushering in a new age. The high end women's apparel brings options fit for the modern, expressive woman. Partake in the ultimate luxury and shop Lucky in Love for your new favorite fashion items for women. Also, super exciting news. You can now shop my collection with Lucky in Love. Designing this was such a dream, and I'm so proud to share it with you. And use code EB20 to get 20% of your next purchase. Yes, sometimes you have to, like, so for people that don't know, you're talking about there were two 35Ks here in Boca. And first week in the first round, I slid on the court and I pulled my groin, but like not to the point where it's like complete pull. It was like a small like strain. And I'm like, oh, I'm home. I want to play. Like I don't want to retire. That first week, that second round was pretty bad. I probably should not have pushed it, but I taped it and I like didn't want to retire. And the thing is, that's a tough one, and for players to like, when do you push yourself, when you do you can push yourself, and when it's time to really stop. If I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I would probably like not push myself and be like, okay, like it is, you know I don't want to make it worse, because I don't know what I'm gonna do on the court. But like now, like I knew I'm gonna go there, but I'm not gonna like sprint fully. Like I'm more
Right.
mature in that way. It's still not. I'm still not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm still not saying like go and play and um no. But like I knew I was not gonna hurt myself more. But there's always a chance that you can win. So I'm like, I'm home. I want to win. Like maybe something's gonna happen to her during the match. So you never know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel right playing like that, to be honest with you. Like you're like playing, and then that day I was getting very frustrated
Mm.
because I knew, like I know I can get to the ball, but that day I couldn't get to the ball. I knew I could like bend my knees here more, get more into the shot, but I didn't execute. And then I was getting more and more frustrated. And then at the end of the day, I think the right decision was not to play, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And then I took like 5 days off because there was another tournament in a row. And I took I took 5 days off, like the rehab, and it felt like, okay, I'm like, I can play, but I didn't practice. And the first round felt like okay, not 100%. But then, like in the second round, then I felt it again. And, I didn't learn the first time through. So, I kept pushing it. And, like, I do not recommend, like, if you're a tennis player and you have something that's bothering you, um, you have to listen to your body and know, like, when to stop. There, like, if you pull a groin, if you slide on the court or something, like, don't do it. It's not worth it. Like, there's another week and another week. And thankfully, I
Right.
didn't get injured more. But I definitely, like, after that, so that was last Saturday. Well, not even, God, that was like only Saturday. I played semifinals of doubles, and I was supposed to leave to Orlando on Monday to play a 15K there. But I'm like, no, um,
Mm.
I'm not going. I need some time off, so I've been actually resting since Saturday. I did a light hit today. It's feeling better. I'm not gonna push it because I want to play next week, 35K in Orlando. But there, if I feel like I cannot, I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna do it like
Right.
first 2 weeks because there's one thing being like 100%. You're never gonna be like truly 100% when you're playing, but there's a difference of like being sore, being tired, or a little pains here and there. But if you have a strain in the muscle, then you should not do it. Bottom line.
Yeah. So, well, you told me to keep this as natural and like authentic as possible. So I'm just gonna like take this a little bit off script and be completely like a little bit off the script and honest. Do you feel like, and we've talked about this a little bit, but do you feel like also uh because of how your story has developed, I'm not gonna ask anything crazy, don't worry. But like the way that your story has developed, the way that you kind of made a comeback on a later age, like kind of like time is working against you. That's kind of like the biggest kind of, let's say, I don't, it's not an enemy, but like the biggest enemy on your career, right? It's the time and your age, and your health, like overall. Do you feel like sometimes your decisions have been like the wrong ones, or you kind of haven't listened to, as you said, your body or like your inner voice because you're kind of in a rush to achieve everything that you want to achieve, and you've maybe made not the smartest choices at times in terms of your playing?
You all know how much time I spend on court, and having the right equipment makes a huge difference. That's why I've been using Gamma Sports for over 10 years. Their grips, strings, and on court accessories like ball hoppers and nets are some of the best out there. Whether you're training or competing, Gamma has the gear to keep you ready to play. Check them out at gammasports.com and use code EMA25 for 25% off your order.
Totally, totally. And looking back, it's been a year since I started playing pro tournaments. Like literally a year. I can't believe it's like now they're like the tournaments that I need to like defend some points. Like there's one now
Mm,
in Bethany Beach. I played last year. I was like, oh my God, I have to defend points from there, like it's crazy. It's been a year. It goes by so fast. Like,
yeah.
and I'm like, what, 799? I like to say 700 instead of 800 in singles, and then like 540 in doubles.
Wow.
And when you look at the big picture, it's like, oh my God, Emma, like great job. Like you made it this far. Like a lot of people like didn't even think I was gonna get here, you know?
Right.
Um, but then like me over here, I'm like, ugh, I know my level, and like the more I'm playing, the more I see it. I'm like, that's not where I belong. Like I should have been at least like around 500 now.
Right. Yeah.
But I was pushing a lot, and when I was like looking at these tournaments last year that I played, like I forced so many of them.
Mm.
I'm like, I need to go. It's a good opportunity. Oh, maybe I break through. Maybe I get points here. But that wasn't feeling like great before the tournament. So um, now I'm gonna be a little bit smarter. Still, that part in me is like, oh my God, like I don't have time. Like I need to play every week, but I can't do it like that anymore. I'm saying it now. God knows what's gonna happen in a week or 2 weeks, but already like I made a big step like this week not going to Orlando. And I just like I need to, sometimes it's so important and I'm learning this because I'm a person and you're the same, like just go, go, go. Like I need to take a step back. Like I need to take a step back and reset mentally, physically, just kind of like see where I'm at because it's not healthy like this. It's really not healthy just to go and learning also that rest is part of the process, which is so hard
Right.
for me to understand that. It's
Yeah.
like, but I always feel guilty if I'm not practicing, doing anything. Like I have to be doing something during the day. Like if it's not tennis, like I'm doing working on my fitness, working on my rehab, working on anything. So yeah,
Right.
rest is part of the process.
I mean, I think it's a big step that you can like kind of recognize that, that you recognize that you have that like feeling of being in a rush and that sometimes it has led you to bad decisions. So that
Yeah,
way it's a lot easier to make a better one in the future if otherwise like as opposed to if you had no idea, like you were just kind of going as you said, and you were like very stubborn on your ways, then it's kind of you're falling on like dripping with the same rock over and over again. But I feel like it's a big step that you realize like, yeah, I'm definitely like it's something that concerns me, like it concerns me that I'm not gonna have time, that I'm gonna like reach a point in which my health is not gonna be enough. Like you have that thing on your mind, but then you manage it better and be like, okay, yes, but then if I like push it too much, then I can't do really anything. Like I'm not gonna achieve anything. So like it's better to as you said, trust the process and respect the time that it takes. It's like it's the same for you than for a 16-year-old. Like
yeah,
you're not gonna not because you're older you're gonna achieve things faster than the rest of the people. Like I think that's a big maturity step that you've taken. It's like almost getting rid of like any entitlement feelings of being like, no, I deserve this more than other people. It's like, no, like this is a fair game. It's fair for everyone. People that put in the work get the results, but it takes time for everyone. Even people that put a lot of work in are like the hardest workers. You fail a lot, and then it doesn't go well, and then you have to sit out for injury, and like it's a long process. And I mean, you're in the same journey as everyone else. So I think that's super important for people to also kind of like accept and understand, because I'm sure a lot of people also kind of can relate in other areas that they feel like, oh, I want to do so much like right now, and like I want it all like quick, and it's kind of like a kind of one of the negative sides of being very driven.
yeah,
Sometimes you're too much in a rush and
yeah.
things don't like just kind of backfire, because that's just not how life works. Not tennis, not life, not anything. So I think that's huge, Emma. Um, okay, I'm gonna like be a good host and then go back to the script, and then I'm gonna like
You
go
can do
back to
whatever
my.
you want. You don't have to do the script, like whatever you want.
Okay, all right.
Whatever you
Whatever my heart desires, be true to
whatever your
myself.
heart desires. It's like just whatever. Just be yourself.
I'm always myself. Um, Sometimes I'm a little too much myself. Anyway, um, well, okay. Since now that you insist, I'm gonna like leave the script again, and I want to dive into into the
It
topic
was
of.
so hard to convince you.
It's like, well, I'm convinced if you really want to. Um, I guess like this is a good segue into something that I've been like thinking about lately, and it's like we hear a lot about like, your inner voice, right? That like inner voice, and for so long, like it's such a cliche thing, and like you hear it so much, and it's like the classic thing that is like, I don't know if you can say, can we swear on this podcast? I don't know if we can swear.
Yeah, you can do whatever
Bullcrap,
you
bullshit.
want.
Okay. So I feel like it's just bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, like listen to your inner voice. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what does your inner voice exactly mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when I was like had a really tough decision in front of me, that didn't really help. I was like, I'm overthinking everything, and then like I take a decision, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, I could never be like so convinced about a decision, And I
Yeah.
feel like in those things, like we're very similar. You know, like we're
Yeah.
so, again, like we have that common factor of being like very driven, but we
Yeah.
want to do everything and we want to like now, like we want to just like eat the entire world up in 2 days, and it's just not how it works. Um, and then I think we have that common factor as well of like it's hard for us to make decisions, like important decisions, without overthinking like the shit out of it. And
Yeah.
then once we make it, we're like, well, what if I overthought this? And then the other, like, it's just too much, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and I know you can definitely relate to this. So, like, in the last few days, I've been thinking about like how important it is to, like, the only way to really listen to that like voice, that it really is always there. Like, it's always, it's almost like you always, I'm trying to explain it to people the best way I possibly can, but it's like, it's impossible to listen to that inner voice that I do think it's always there, but we have so much noise, like mental noise. Like we're constantly just thinking so much, and we're not ever, like, nobody really teaches us how to quiet down the mental noise, which is, I think, it's something like fundamental that should be taught to athletes, like 100%, but really everyone, like everyone that is a member of society, for the well-being of everyone, should be like taught how to like control and mental control, meditate, like all these tools that are used to quiet the noise on your head and be able to listen to like that inner voice, which I do think it's real. It sounds like bullshit, but it's not. Like, I think it truly exists. So I do want to like hear your opinion on this, and I think this is going to be a really, really valuable piece of information for people. Of like, if you do achieve to quiet down your mental noise, you start making like just the right decision. Like what you know, like your inner wisdom knows what the right thing is for you. In this case, is like a perfect example for your tournaments. Like, I know for a fact, Emma, like for a fact, that you knew that it was probably not the best idea to play, and like your inner voice was probably like, this is not the time. Like, I'm gonna rush, but I can wait. Like, nothing's gonna happen if I don't play this week. I'm gonna feel better, and I'm gonna be able to train sooner, and I can perform better. But then there's so much noise sometimes that you're like, no, but like, I gotta win, and my kids are here, and then like it's so much that you're like, no, I'm gonna do, and you do it your way, right? And this is something that I know like we all deal with, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. And like, I feel people can really relate to this on whatever thing they do in their lives.
Sometimes it's hard uh to listen to that inner voice, right? Like, because I 100% agree. We all have it, and everybody that's listening, everybody knows what you're talking about, because it's that gut feeling, is that instinct that's never wrong with anything, with job, with uh, business, with in your personal life, and in everything. Like when you look back in your life, like that right there, like that you knew the answer. It's like me coming back with tennis, it's like coming back to tennis. It's like when that woman, when I heard her speech, and when she was like, if you have a little desire and you don't want to regret it when you're 50,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to regret it that you didn't try it at 30. When she told me that, it's like I knew the answer was there inside of me the whole time, but I was just scared to admit it. So
Right.
it's the same with that. It's like on a daily basis we deal with those things, and with decision making and everything. And with me, it's like learning how to trust myself more when it comes to everything. Sometimes I don't, um, and that's why I overthink and overanalyze,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, am I doing the right decision? Because there's no, in this tennis journey, or anything in life, there's no right or wrong decision, right? There's no this or this, you have to do it this way or this way. No, there's really no rule. Look at like every player, look at every businessman. There's nobody that's like, okay, this is how you do it. But like most of them talk about, like, yes, the hard work, the discipline, trusting yourself, trusting that instinct, right? But it is knowing within yourself what to do. I feel like sometimes we don't know what we actually want, and when you don't know what you want, that's when you get confused. And then the thing is, like with me still, sometimes I'm like, oh, but should I continue playing tennis? Should I just
Mm-hmm.
go back to work and just make money and just go back and being with my kids and living a normal life? And I'm like, no, Emma, that's not what you want. Because, but that then it comes in what you're talking about, quieting the mind, meditating, whatever that means for you. Or like there's no like one, okay, you have to meditate. For some people, meditating is like going in the gym
and listening to music and working out really hard, turning off, right? But like that's when the thoughts are coming in. That's how they're meditating. Like for some people is walking on the beach, for some people is going on a run, for some people is literally like closing their eyes and meditating. You have to find what works for you, so you can quiet all the other noise and just be with yourself, so that way you can listen to yourself more, and that way you're going to trust yourself more. But if you don't find time for that, if you're constantly just busy and whatever, then it's going to be tough. Or like being in the shower, like I don't know, like there's so many ways that you can meditate. I think.
Right.
I don't know if you agree with this, but
Yeah, no, I do. I think you're totally right. Like it, but I do think it's something like that's as everything. I think it takes a lot of practice to again like listen to, and again I think I don't know if listen is the right word, because I feel like, or at least in my experience, it's more of like feeling than listening. Because when we're like listening,
yeah,
it means it's probably more thought than it is feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
I feel like when it comes down to like, it's so easy to like fall again into like the thought process, like once
yeah,
you start thinking like, and I don't like, obviously we have to think about stuff, like we have to rationally be like, okay, like I need to do this today and get this done and I have this responsibility. Like there, we definitely need like a left part of the brain that like takes care of all that stuff. But then like the big decisions, the stuff that we're like unsure about, like what we want to do with our lives, what the right thing to do is, like those kind of things. I think that's when thinking, like rationally thinking or rationalizing things, doesn't work out. I think, and it's such a common thing. Like we're so used to, like that's at least most personalities, I feel like, and I think me and you are a lot like that. Like we want to like understand everything. So once we have like, we're a little bit unsure of like, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, do I want to go pro, or maybe like social media? I'm giving examples for like your case, right? Like social media, maybe that's my passion, and maybe I love it. Like there's so much that you could like talk yourself into, but it's all rational stuff that it's so hard to find an answer, and you're never going to really feel like at peace if you don't work on that. No matter how like convinced you are about your path and your passion, you're always going to go back to those doubts because your mind doesn't stop. So even if you chose like, let's say, the right one or what was really fitting for you, if your mind just keeps going and thinking and thinking and thinking, then you're going to be like, well, but what if I did? What if I did? Like there's always unlimited options, especially with so much information on the internet right now.
yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's, yes, like think, like having your space to think is one thing. That's great. Gym, workout, tennis, whatever it is, meditating, like laying down, whatever it is. But I think an even bigger thing is like really quieting down all kinds of thoughts, and then just going with, as you said, your gut feeling, not listening to your thoughts, just your gut feeling, without getting that. Whether it's, they talk a lot about like positive mindset, right, or positive thinking. It's not positive or negative. It's just in general, it's thinking. It's, at the end of the day, it's noise, so that blurs what you really know that you should be doing or achieving or
yeah.
pursuing. I think it's such a complicated thing that's why I think it's such a thing that needs practice and training and people to teach you. What would you say is your proudest moment so far in your comeback career? Um, and and a moment that made you question everything. I was not reading that at all. I actually came up with question. I came up with that question word by word. It just popped into my head. It was my gut feeling. It was me quieting my mind and feeling my gut. Anyway, no, I'm for real. What's your proudest moment and a moment that made you question everything?
The moment that's making me question everything is right now.
Yeah, being on a Zoom with a person that's 35 miles away. Like, what are we doing here?
Okay. The proudest moment of my comeback was 2 months ago when I played a Billie Jean Cup in Cyprus, representing my country. And I played as a number one player, and I got all three singles wins, and two of them
Let's
were against
go.
top 200 players,
Let's go.
and one was against 400, and it was amazing. It was honestly like it made it all like worth it, like it was just like, oh my God, this is why I'm doing this. The feeling was, I can't
Yeah.
describe it. And what was the other question that I'm questioning?
A moment that made you question everything. Everything.
I'm almost every day. Moments. Like, like I don't know if there's a moment that made me question everything actually, but like there are almost weekly I get a day
Yeah,
where I question everything when I'm at the tournament, right? Let's say I'm in a
right,
tournament far away and I lost a match that I was supposed to win. There's nothing supposed, but that's like on paper, I should have won that match. And then I lose. I played bad. I made a lot of double faults. I'm like, can I actually do this? Like, why am I actually doing this? Like, if I cannot perform, and it just makes you, and then you're like, do I want to play? Do I want to do this? But like, I feel like, I mean, most of the tennis players that I talk to, they have these moments, they question
right.
themselves why they're doing this, why, But then, I get back to my journal, I write it all out, and I'm back to like, okay, you're fine. The next day I wake up and back to the grind, back to practice. What did that, But yeah, weekly, I question it. Trust me.
Well, that's good. That's probably inspiring for some people that are questioning themselves constantly when like
Yeah,
they're playing tournaments as well. Um,
yeah.
Two things. One, I just came up with an idea. I think, well, not an idea, but this is like, I think we should do this podcast like Zoom because I was thinking how much has happened in terms of like the Billie Jean King Cup was crazy. Like it was a crazy thing to achieve.
Yeah,
Wild. The Battle at Swan, like all these things that you told me about. It's
yes,
been wild, like crazy. And I feel like you haven't had a chance to like talk about it on an episode um for a long time. Like it's very big gaps
yes,
between what happens and what's like things are happening in your career constantly, but then
yes,
there's huge gaps of time that we don't talk about it on a podcast. So
yes. I
I feel
agree.
like we should do this a thing, and I'm saying this live. Like we should do this a thing, which we just do a Zoom, even if we're Wellington Boca. Let's do Zoom so I can stay in my pajamas, and then we just talk about your career, but we do it like a regular basis. I feel like people would love this because it's so many like so natural. I feel like it's more natural than with guests that we don't like constantly interact with,
Yeah,
and it's important for people to like follow your journey and like be updated with what you're achieving. Because it's like it's crazy that we haven't talked about that on a like on live. You know what I mean? Like about like the Billie Jean King Cup because it was a crazy, crazy accomplishment.
yeah.
And on that note, this is a genuinely question that I actually came up with right now. This is not written down. This popped into my head. Do you? Because it's like how crazy it is that you beat a two top 200 players, right, on that tournament.
Back in like 2 days. Yes.
That's wild. So my question is, do you think that like representing your country, having your parents there, hadn't gone back to Bosnia,
Yeah.
being in your home country, like
Yeah.
that passion of representing your home country for that you haven't done for so long, like all the circumstances gave you all
Yes.
that power and like that passion and that energy to beat players that would normally be like so hard to beat.
Oh my God, that's such a good point. I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about that too. I was also home a week before, right? And I was training and I was just so happy to be home. And it's such a different feeling. And this is not BS. Like, this is not BS. But like, I feel different. Talking about the feeling, I feel different. And I feel so good. And it's like, it was a different fight. And having those people around me, like, my people, like that's like when I switched also, I switched again to play under the Bosnian flag. It's like it's who I am. And
Right.
and it's so true. But like how do I find that on a daily basis when I'm playing next week, for example, in Orlando when there's two people watching that are random people, if there are two people watching, like there was like the atmosphere that you're playing for something more than yourself, you know? So maybe finding ways to put myself in the position like I'm playing for something more than myself. That's when I played really good in college too, is when I played
Yeah.
for my college. When you play just for yourself, it's like, whatever. Then I think,
Well,
Yeah.
That's a great point. This is becoming one of the best episodes slowly, and I love it. And it's freaking pumping me up. So listen to this. So yeah, because it was like I'm getting so pumped. That's crazy. It was like it was like perfect. Like I know how you were also like mentoring some girls that were younger that were like
Yes.
insane players, and you
Yes.
were kind of like a playing mom for them, and you
Yes.
were so inspired. Like everything was so out of a fairy tale,
Yes.
which is crazy to see how the circumstances of a certain competition or a tournament can influence the way a player feels and the way he or she performs. Like the circumstances is crazy, the effect that they can have. Obviously, like you can't, as you said, you can't have that on a regular basis. Like you're not every tournament your parents are going to be there, and you're going to be representing your country, and you're not going to have as many people and whatnot. And this is so applicable for like anybody below the pro level or on the like really lower pro level, because you're usually playing like in the middle of nowhere when there's no one watching. You're away from family. You're
Yes.
feeling a little bit like shit because you're alone. You don't have money. Like it's very very like hard and like just tough circumstances in general. So it's complete opposite.
Can I just okay, hold on.
Yes.
It's funny because I was just at the in Dominican Republic before that with another girl, Ellie. And she actually said something one day because it's so tough. Like we were there for each other, cheering each other on, and actually even like that those 2 weeks I played really well because it was like she was there, we're cheering each other on. It was different, but like there were some moments where she couldn't watch, where I couldn't watch her. We were playing at the same time. She's like, sometimes you feel at these tournaments, at these matches, like that the match doesn't even count because like there's no live stream, there's no live score, there's no referee, and you're playing in the middle of nowhere on like really bad conditions, really bad courts, and you're like nobody's watching. Literally nobody's watching. And you feel like the match doesn't even count. Does that make sense? And I was like, that's
Yeah.
a good point. That's how it feels. It feels
Yeah.
so bad. But like even when you know there's a live score and your parents are watching and cheering you like every point, at least like a little bit like
A
there's
little bit. Yeah.
that's why like I feel like when you get then to the top and you're playing
You
week in, week out
rock
at
it.
big tournaments, I just need
Yeah.
to get there and I'll be killing it. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so true, and it's like that's 90% of the tournaments. Like
Yeah.
it's literally no, what 90? It's like the 1% of the tournaments are big crowds on TV and everything else. 1% or less. It's like everything else happening in the tennis world or in any sport
Mhm.
or in anything, literally like anything in life. It's like
Yes,
behind
yes,
behind curtains. Like nobody
yes,
can really see the success, and you're like achieving great things, and you're putting all this hard
yes,
work. Like
yes.
I just started an engineering job, and I'm literally behind the desk 8 freaking hours a day, like grinding my ass off. Nobody knows about my existence on that. Like it's like most people live like this. Nobody gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's crazy. But here's what I'm getting to. This is my conclusion,
Okay.
because you brought up a great point. You're like, when I'm in these like great circumstances, parents are watching, big crowds, I'm representing my country, I feel amazing, I play incredible, and I feel like I'm playing for something bigger than myself. But then you said something really curious, and you said whenever the circumstances are not like that, and it's like small crowds, not a lot of people watching, no live stream, on the middle of nowhere, I don't feel too good, I'm only playing for myself. But yes, it's true. You can't have the ideal circumstances every time with you. But what if you start like, or in general, like athletes start training themselves to feel like playing for yourself is like the biggest
Yeah,
inspiration there is. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
the same way that you play for your parents and when for your kids, and you're like, they're watching me. I'm gonna do this no matter how shitty I feel, how like much my leg hurts. I'm gonna play for them or for my country. If
yeah,
you can achieve, I think that's huge. If you can achieve that for yourself and be like, I love myself so much and I respect myself so much for everything I'm doing
yeah,
every single day
yeah,
on the practice court where nobody's watching. I'm gonna like do whatever it takes to win this match for me on a
yes,
consistent basis. I think you're on a different level. I think you're on a different level. And then when the circumstances are great, that's an extra. You're like, well, now I'm like unbeatable. Like now I'm like on fire because I'm playing for myself and I'm playing for all these amazing people and my country and everything.
yeah,
But it's like you're constantly playing for yourself. And I think that's something that hard to achieve, but it's like, I guess the goal.
yeah. Something I'm gonna work on. Maybe we can come up with like Maybe we can come up with like something like a
Another
man.
bracelet that says "Play for yourself." Are you wearing it?
I was wearing it today.
Right.
I swear to God. I took it because I knew you were gonna be here, so that's why. Um, no, no, not a bracelet. Like I have an idea, but I'll talk to you about it after.
Oh, I love this. I love this.
We have 1 minute.
Oh, oh, I could stop. This is going so well.
We're
But
just.
yeah, that this keeps people wanting more of this, you know?
Oh, okay. Or
So
you?
it's
Are
good.
you people?
I'm the people. I'm 99% of the people, but no, I feel like people are gonna enjoy this podcast. And it was very natural. Like it started off scripted, but now it's like I'm generally like excited for everything you're achieving, Emma, and I can like see it on the way you're performing, on the way you're living your life. And it's really inspiring, you know. And I feel like doing the podcast is also healthy for us as people. It's just like it's we
Yes,
don't get a chance to like talk and like get all this like thoughts out, and then being able to share with people. It's like the best gift I feel for us and for people. So it's great.
I agree. It's so important because sometimes I go back and I listen to it, and I'm like, and then to see like where I was, or like even just to remind myself because I talk so well in the podcast, and then I don't go and I go and I don't how you say don't live what I preach.
Yes, 100%.
Emma, you like literally know what to do, and you literally just said this. So just do it. It's like I'm perfect to like tell people what to do and give you advice, and I'm so good at it. But then, like, when it's time to actually apply it to my own life, it's like, hey, remember you said that on the podcast? Come on, be account. That's why it's like kind of like keeping me
Very true.
accountable as well.
Yep.
You
Yep. 100%. I
know?
am in this exact same boat, and I agree. And we've talked about this. It's like not the same thing to like talk about it than to
Yes,
do it, but it definitely helps. Like that's going back to the inner knowledge. Like it's there. Like these things. It's just a
exactly.
matter of practicing it on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, that was amazing. It's good to see you happy. I know you're tired, but it was good to see you with energy again, and super excited for what's coming.
Yeah.
So this is a promise for people that we're gonna do this more often to recap your career and how it's going. And yeah, I mean, all the best for you. I'm excited for the next few months and what's coming.
Me too. Let's get this. And hey, you're doing amazing at your engineering job.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.